So let's talk about legacy. The women who thrive in the second half of life aren't the ones who never change course. They're the ones who change it with intention. Now, in your 20s and 30s, the engine might have been achievement or getting things done, building something meaningful, raising an amazing family, making progress towards your goals, or proving that you could handle anything that life threw at you. And honestly, that served a purpose. It got you where you are today. But in midlife, everything shifts, and that's a good thing. The things that used to motivate you might feel less compelling now. The achievements that once filled you up might leave you feeling like something's missing. And that restlessness you're feeling, that sense that something needs to change, it's not a midlife crisis. It's your soul asking for something deeper, something more authentic, something that actually aligns with who you're becoming, with God's plan for your life and who you're going to be in this next season. So today we're talking about what it actually looks like to lead a life that lasts, one that doesn't just look impressive from the outside, but feels deeply good on the inside. Because leadership in this season isn't about working harder or titles or visibility. It's about impact that matters, wholeness that sustains you, joy that doesn't depend on your performance, and showing up for what really counts. Let me start by sharing a little of my own story because maybe you'll recognize yourself or a good friend in it. The things that drive me today are completely different than what drove me 15 years ago, like not even close. Back then, I was moving at a pretty intense pace. I had meaningful goals. I was growing a company. I had tons of responsibility and a ton of pressure from every direction. I was building businesses that mattered to me. I was raising the 5 boys. They were all so young. I was taking care of a husband walking through illness and managing household chores and household chaos and doing my absolute best to keep the plates spinning without any of them completely crashing to the ground. I mean, some did crash to the ground often, but I picked them up and I spun them some more. But I was genuinely proud of how much I could handle. I wore my ability to juggle everything like a badge of honor. People would ask me how I did it all, and I'd smile and say something like, just figure it out. But something in me started to shift as I got older. I wasn't dealing with burnout per se. I've been there, and this is different. It wasn't collapse or breakdown. It was a quieter thing than that. It was a growing desire, a deep hunger for something meaningful. I didn't just want to build things anymore. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to wake up excited for my days instead of just surviving them. So I started writing a book I'm working on right now. This one is about my own personal journey of learning to lower my stress and move my body in ways that felt good and rediscover what it meant to be alive again. Because somewhere along the way, I had just lost touch with that feeling. And I realized I wanted that for me, but I desperately wanted that for you too. And that's also the heart behind the app that so many of you are already using and loving, the Uplift app. I wanted women just like you to have practical, accessible tools to deal with their stress and to quiet the noise in their minds and to find genuine joy again. Real coaching, faith-based support, and daily guidance that meets you exactly where you are, not just where you think you should be. Now, in this, I wasn't trying to build a legacy that would impress people at conferences or look good on my resume or make me seem important. I wanted to create something that genuinely helps people live better, feel better, love better, and find joy in the way that God has for them. And when I think about my own family, legacy hits home in an even deeper way, a more personal way. I want to be healthy, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually too. I want to model this for my kids. I want to model what it looks like to take care of yourself and to grow and to change and stay curious about life. I want to be present instead of distracted. I want to be calm instead of frantic. Lord, please let me be calm instead of frantic. And I want to live long enough and well enough to take my future granddaughters to Disney World. And I want to chase them around the parks and I want to buy them beautiful princess dresses. And I don't just want to sit on a bench the whole time. And that might sound like a simple dream to some people, but with 5 boys, trust me, I'm holding out serious hope for those granddaughters. And when they show up in my life, I want to be ready. I want to be the kind of grandmother who's fully alive and fully present and fully there. And that to me is what real legacy looks like. Not the public stuff, the personal stuff. So today I want to share 3 fundamental mindset shifts that can completely reframe how we think about leadership and calling and legacy in this really beautiful, messy, complex, sacred second half of life. Here's the first shift. Legacy isn't something that happens later. It's being built right now. We often think of legacy as something that happens at the end of our story, like a final chapter or a eulogy. But it's not. Legacy is being written and built in every single moment. It's not found in the big, dramatic gestures that make headlines. It's woven into the small daily decisions that most people will never see. It's how your kids remember your tone when you talk to them during their hardest seasons. It's the text you send to friends who are hurting. It's the way you choose to lead with calm instead of chaos when everything around you is falling apart. It's your presence when someone needs you. It's your integrity when no one's watching, and your kindness even when you're tired and a little bit grumpy. Your legacy isn't a platform or a performance. It's the pattern you choose to live by day after day. Shift number 2. Your calling grows and evolves as you do. What used to drive you might not fit who you're becoming anymore, and that's not only okay, it's very healthy. It's a sign of growth, not failure. The version of you who used to thrive on tight deadlines or high-pressure projects may now be craving more margin and meaning in your days. Maybe you're not chasing the same ambitious goals that once consumed you. Maybe your work looks quieter now, more personal and more intentional. Or maybe you're saying no to opportunities that you would have jumped on 5 years ago. Here's what I've learned. Calling isn't one big moment of clarity that lasts forever. It evolves, it flexes, it deepens. And very often I found that it transforms through pain and parenting, health challenges, loss, and even healing. God doesn't give us a calling and then expect us to live it out exactly the same way for the rest of our lives. Maybe your leadership now looks like mentoring a younger woman who's struggling with the same things that you overcame years ago. Maybe it looks like writing or homeschooling or consulting or writing a book or volunteering. Or maybe it just looks like being emotionally available in your relationships in ways that you never really could before. It all counts. Every single bit of this matters. Shift number 3. The healthiest leaders prioritize their peace. The women I admire most at this stage in life, they're not necessarily the most accomplished or most visible. They're the most grounded, the most at peace with themselves and their choices. They're not doing everything under the sun. They're doing what matters most, and they're doing it well. They've learned the art of intentional living. They know how to pause before reacting, how to protect their peace like it's precious, because hello, it is. How to say no without guilt, how to show up fully for their bodies and their families and their purpose without trying to impress anyone or prove anything to anyone. They've stopped living in constant emergency mode. They've started living in purpose, with purpose. And here's what I notice about these women. They have a deep, unshakable trust that God is working in their lives, even in the quiet seasons, even when nothing dramatic is happening. They've learned to rest confidently in His timing instead of frantically trying to force their own timeline. So let's slow down for a moment, right here in this conversation. I want you to take a deep breath with me. And I want you to ask yourself these questions and really let yourself feel the answers. Number 1, what legacy am I already living right now, today? What's no longer driving me the way it used to? And last, what do I want the second half of my life to actually feel like? Think about that. What do you want to feel like in the second half of your life? Now let's make this super practical and make it real with some concrete steps that you can take this week. Sound good? Okay, step 1. I want you to define one core value that you want to lead from. What's your anchor word for this season of life? Maybe it's peace or joy or purpose or fun. I want you to pick one word that feels true to who you're becoming and let it guide your decisions this next week. Step 2. I want you to choose one area to give yourself permission to grow in. Maybe it's physical health. Maybe it's moving your body in ways that feel good instead of punishing. Maybe it's creativity, picking up that hobby that you abandoned years ago. I've been doing this with jewelry making. I have tons of jewelry making supplies that I literally haven't touched in 15 years, and it has been so fun to pick it up again. Maybe it's rest, actually taking time to recharge instead of feeling guilty about it. Maybe it's joy, doing things just because they make you laugh. Permission granted. Okay, step 3. I want you to plan one small legacy building moment this week. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be Instagram worthy. I want you to call your sister and really listen. Take a slow walk with your spouse without talking about logistics. I want you to speak genuine encouragement into someone who needs it. Or leave a voice memo for a kid telling them something that you love about them. Write a note to someone that made a difference in your life. These seemingly small things matter more than we think. And the final step, I want you to try the Uplift app. It is completely free for 30 days. I created Uplift because I wanted women like you to have a safe place to go when life feels heavy or noisy or just plain overwhelming. It has daily audio tools, it has breathwork exercises, devotionals, all designed to help you lead and live well without burning out. Like I said, it's completely free. You can go to upliftapp.co to learn more about it. It is my way of saying that you matter. Your leadership matters. Your peace matters, and you deserve support. So let me wrap this with truth that I want you to carry with you. You don't need to start over from scratch. You're starting from wisdom. You're starting from experience. You're starting from a place of knowing what doesn't work. And you are not behind where you should be. You're not too late. You're just being invited to lead in a new way and to live in a new way. The pressure you used to feel to prove to yourself in your 20s and your 30s, you can set that down now. The need to impress people who don't really know you, you can release that too. So this week, I want you to take one small step toward the legacy that you want to leave. Not someday when you have more time or more energy or more clarity. Today, right now, with what you have. Because here's the beautiful truth. You're already living your legacy. Every conversation, every choice, every moment of presence or kindness or courage, it's all part of the story that you're writing. And that story is going to be beautiful. Okay, let's talk about recommendations. This is so weird. You know how some people get a mosquito bite or a bug bite in the summer and they blow up and swell, and some people never get bitten? Strange, right? 2 kids of mine, if there is a mosquito within 30 miles, it will find them and they will blow up like a balloon. My friend Jenna swears by this thing called the bug bite thing. And it is this thing that you put on a bug bite and it sucks out the bite from in your skin. You have to do it right after a mosquito bites you. And it works great. We ordered one on Amazon, the bug bite thing. And my son took it to church camp and used it all through church camp whenever bugs bit him. I can't believe it works. It is so ridiculously simple. I love the bug bite thing. But I also want to tell you something I don't love. I was influenced to buy something. I kept seeing these MagSafe chargers, these little portable chargers. I think Anchor makes them that are MagSafe. So they just hook to your phone, right? And I was like, this is great. I'll take it to Disney. I'll take it on my team getaway and my client retreat. It is garbage. We were outside in Orlando, so you can only imagine how hot it felt. It was super, super hot. I kept it on my phone for about 45 minutes. It only charged it by 2%. As soon as I got home to Nashville, I returned it. So if you are seeing all these people with their MagSafe chargers on Instagram or TikTok saying it's the best thing since sliced butter, maybe I got a bad one. I was influenced and I returned it. That's a no-go for me. But you know what's not a no-go? Us being here together. Thank you for being here. I want to say I'm so grateful that we get to spend this time together twice a week. You're showing up for your growth and your faith and your future, and that matters. Not just for you, but for everyone around you. I do believe in the calling on your life. I believe in the dreams that God has placed in your heart, and I know that you're a difference maker. I want you to hear me remind you that you are stronger than you think, you are braver than you feel, and you are absolutely not alone. With God, you have everything that it takes. So keep stepping up and keep showing up and loving well, because you can't break a woman who gets her strength from God. I hope you have a great day, and I'll be back with you again soon. Sorry, I thought I had notifications off. Sorry, itchy face. Sorry, itchies.